Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika Zen. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. Get on in here. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. So, baby, it is time, okay? It's time for war. War has been called, y'all. We got to get it in. There's going to be a lot of people to go. But let me let y'all know, okay, Miss Rhaenys, okay, Princess Rhaenys, Queen never ever, Queen never was, Queen that should have been, all right, came through and let them know this is not a game, baby. You want war, you gonna get what you asking for, okay? Allison out here trying to play devil's advocate and then be innocent at the same time. Girl, we tired of you, we see you. You know, she over here, is she selling feed pigs? What's really going on, all right? Child, I want to see Otto go. I want to see Christian go. I want to see freaking Larry's go. You know what I'm saying? I know we're going to have a lot of people go. Those that we want, those that we don't want. And I don't know if they're going to get it. But baby, when they do, I will be the first one to dance around on their asses, okay? I know my neighbors are sick of me because I've been in here yelling and screaming at the daggone TV, y'all. You know, I had to get up here and talk about this freaking episode. Y'all let me know what team you on, who you want to see, okay, go down. What is your list? I have a couple more, but that's my top 3, you know. We gonna go ahead and get into this episode, though, and break it all the way down. So, guys, we start out and everything is freaking dark, right? This is like the wee hours of the night, early morning. You know, we ain't seeing no movement. We ain't seeing nothing. The throne room is empty. You know, all throughout the castle is dark. And then we see this, you know what I'm saying, boy coming up out the room. And we see him go down to the kitchen area and let, you know, mysterious little I Spy, you know what's going down. And she's like, are you sure? And then she goes and reports it, you know what I'm saying, to Allison. And Allison finds out that, you know, Viserys is gone. Okay, long live the king, R.I.P. Viserys, you was a real one. And she crying her crocodile tears or whatever have you, right? And so immediately they trying to figure out, you know, what's going to happen. And she basically says to her handmaid, like, you know what I'm saying, do not tell anyone and help me dress, okay, so we could get down here and see what's going on. And then she let Otto know, and he's basically like, you know, who else knows? And she was just like, you know, only a couple of the servants, you know, my handmaid, whatever have you. And then she, of course, begins to tell him like, oh, well, Viserys told me last night that he wanted Aegon on the, you know what I'm saying, throne. So, of course, in her head, supposedly, this is what's making her want to go along with this. And Otto was even looking shocked to hear this, right? And he already pretty much had his plans, but I guess this is supposed to make him feel like he's even more right and he could just go ahead and do what he got to do. So now, you know, she was just like, yeah, he wished for Aegon to be king. I said, girl, we all know he did not wish that, okay? And you know it deep down and daggone inside that he didn't wish it. But okay, you know what I'm saying? If that's what keeps you moving and keeps you going, then do you. You know what I'm saying? And we then have the council meeting or whatever, and you know, they're talking about what they need to do to basically get Aegon on the throne. And here go Otto saying, you know, of course, what Allison told him about Viserys wanted Aegon on the throne. But come to find out whether she would have came and told him that or not, which is no shock to nobody because we already know how Otto raggedy ass get down. He already had plans, so they're basically discussing it like, oh yeah, we gonna do everything as we planned it, you know what I'm saying, what we already talked about. And she's like, hold up, wait a minute, you telling me that y'all already was having plans and y'all was already trying to do this? And so of course she is looking like she's supposed to be struggling with the fact that they was doing that, as if she don't know her father and how the hell he get down. Okay, we gonna act like we are shocked and surprised by this. And so, you know, we have only one person stand up and actually say, what the hell are y'all talking about? Okay, it don't work like this. He was like, Viserys has been saying for over 20 damn years that he wanted, you know, Rhaenyra, and we already had people that came and bowed down and committed to her, whatever, and they want to talk about, oh, half those people was probably dead. You know, that was a long time ago. And he was like, am I really supposed to believe? Okay, and this is actually, I believe his name was Sir Laman. You know, he's actually saying like, I don't believe this, okay? Am I really supposed to believe this? And he's like, I'm not going along with this. Now, in the meantime, the whole time that he's talking, so Christian bring his raggedy behind over there, and he ends up hitting him in the damn, you know what I'm saying, head or whatever, and knocking him out, and he bleeding. I'm like, damn, I thought they was just going to knock him out for a minute, and he was going to be back up. But no, apparently, you know, that is not what's happening. We just out here straight killing people. Now, when he does this, you know, the commander of the Night Guard stepped to him and was like, okay, yeah, no, you overstepping, you know, I am your commander. He was like, I need you to go ahead and put, you know what I'm saying, your weapons down and take off your cloak. And Christian talking about, you know, I serve the queen. And so, you know, then she told them both to stop this, that this was not gonna go this way, all right? And so I was like, yeah, okay, because like I said, one minute she tries to play like she really cares about stuff, and then the next minute, you know, you over here perpetrating and doing your own little stuff on the side or whatever, right? And so, you know, basically, Lyman was telling them that he's 76. He known Viserys longer than anybody that's sitting at this damn table, and he was not believing the gazy bull crap that they was trying to tell him. He was like, you know, I don't believe it, all right? And so he basically died for speaking his truth. You know, he was telling them this is treason, this is theft, this is seizure, and, you know, I don't want to talk about some mind your tongue Lyman or whatever the case may be, right? And so he was saying that the king was well last night by all accounts, and he just found it real funny that all of a sudden now he would change, you know what I'm saying, what he been saying all this time last night to only her, whereas no other witness that could say that they heard this too. And so he lost his life for that, right? And at the end of the day, we see what they trying to do. And, you know, one of them was saying, like, we need to go ahead and get him out of there. But Otto was like, no, nobody's leaving. All right, we're going to have this meeting. Nobody is going to remove anything or go anywhere until we finish with what we got to do. And so at this point, I think people are aware of exactly what is happening, you know. And so I really wanted to see Commander whip Sir Christian's behind, okay, but we didn't get to see that, you know. He did put his sword down once Allison was telling him to go ahead and put it down. And so he was like, has it really came to this? And Otto gonna talk about Lord Commander enough. And, you know, I'm sorry, y'all. Let me take a sip of this. Excuse me, y'all, if I seem like I'm a little out of it, because I'm actually in some excruciating pain in my daggone back. My back is all swollen up and I got a heating pad on it as we speak. But I'm trying to make it through this daggone review, y'all, okay? Giving y'all the best that I got in my Anita Baker voice. And so anyway, you know, they're already talking about what land is going to go to who. And, you know, Allison cuts them off and was like, what of Rhaenys? What of Rhaenyra? Okay, what is going on? And they was like, oh, well, we got to see who's on our side and who's, you know, drawing support for her. And she was like, so you mean to imprison her? And they were saying if they're given, you know what I'm saying, opportunity. And then we go along and we're like saying, you know, she must publicly swear to, you know, basically bend the knee and say that Aegon is the king. And Allison is like, she ain't never gonna bend no knee. You know what I'm saying? We already know that, so let's not play games. And nor will Daemon, which you already know. And so, you know, she's basically looking around at all of them and she's like, wait, you plan to kill them again with the innocent act, as if you did not know that this is what it would come down to. And she's basically like, you know, she is gonna like challenge this, and it will be battle and it will be bloodshed. She's not gonna just want to sit and watch this go down or whatever, right? If she's still living, then that invites the challenge. So they like, it's an unsavory yes. And so they was like, this what they gotta do to secure Aegon's succession. And then there's, you know, Daemon to consider too. And the meanwhile, Commander looking around at all of them like they got 3 damn heads too. Like, what is y'all talking about, right? And Allison was like, yo, you bugging, you know what I'm saying? You wilding. Like, we know that Viserys loved his daughter. If nothing else, we know this and we cannot deny it, you know. And one of them was like, and yet, and you know, when Allison gonna jump up and be like, one more word out of you, I'ma send you to the wall, as if she's coming in, you know what I'm saying, for Rhaenyra's defense. And so everybody was just quiet, and then they're like, what do you suggest, your grace? And she's quiet, you know, she don't really know what to do either. She just know that she does want, you know, Aegon on the throne, and Otto was telling her that it is of the essence. She gonna have to go ahead and, you know, answer now. They need to know what the heck she wants to go down. And so everybody's just kind of looking around, and then we have Otto say to Lord Commander Westland, you know, take your knights and go to Dragonstone, make it quick and clean. And Lord Commander took his cloak and stuff off and said, listen, I serve the king, honey, okay? That's the only person I serve. I don't know what the heck y'all doing. I don't take no commands from nobody daggone else, okay? Until I know who is king, I can't be down with this. You know, I'm Lord Commander of the King's Guard. I've done my time and served well, and I recognize no authority but the king. I said, I know that's right, you know. So he said, until there is one, deuces, okay? I have no place here. And he basically got had to leave, right? So I said, child, now all of a sudden, you know, we go up and we seeing Helena with the girls, and Allison and them is trying to find out where the heck, you know, Aegon is. And she like, I don't know, he ain't here. Like, what has happened? What is going on, you know? And they was like, wait, we not finding him nowhere. He's not in none of his rooms either. And she's like, okay, like, what the hell you want me to do about that? Excuse me. And so, you know, you got Aemon coming in and looking or whatever too, and you know, they have the little servant lady take out the two kids, and when she says what's happened, you know, Allison just ends up going to give her a hug or whatever the case may be. And in the meantime, you know, Helena is basically saying to her, like, you know what I'm saying, beware of the beast below the boards. And of course, they're just ignoring her because, baby, of course, you know, they just think Helena be talking stuff to talk, baby. But Helena trying to drop some knowledge and that y'all know what's going on, what's about to go down. And y'all just keep freaking ignoring her. So now at this point, Otto goes to ask Sir Herwin, you know, where's the prince? And he's like, I don't know. He was like, well, you're supposed to be his protector. You're the one that's supposed to watch him. You know, what is going on? So he says, well, you know, sometimes he likes to leave. Sometimes he likes to be out here in these streets. I don't really have no control over that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know where the heck he went for sure, right? I can't be 100% for sure. So he says, well, you're going to have to go find him and you bring him directly to me, nobody else, and you don't tell anybody else about this. You know, you bring him to me and me alone. And I need this to be kept, you know, secretly. And so at the same time, you know, Christian goes to let him know that her father has sent Sir Harwin to go look for him or whatever the case may be. And she tells Christian the same thing basically that her father just said to him. He's basically like, I'm going to need you, you know, she's basically like, I'm going to need you to go and bring him to me and me alone, right? Like, you owe me and all this other stuff, right? As your queen and all the thing, you know, the dedications that you know, said that you have for me and all this stuff. And was I the only one that was getting the vibe like is a little something more going on with Christian and Allison? You know, in the meantime, we see in them locking doors, we see Rhaenys get locked in her room. She's like, what the hell is the meaning of this? She's looking outside the window. They locking up all the servants and anybody that they feel that would go and get this message to Rhaenyra. So she's already peeping and seeing the game that's going down as she's looking at the window, right? And so none of them can now get out to be able to tell, you know, Rhaenyra what's going on. And of course, in the cut, everywhere we look, we got old Clubfoot, you know, Larry's peeping around the damn corner to see what's going on and who's who and what's what. Now, you know, Otto is still out here just basically letting the message be that Viserys changed his wishes, right? He's now having this meeting with all the houses that he wants to basically bend the knee. The people that he has now called back there, you know, in the way that Viserys had first did it, and he's basically letting them know like how supposedly Viserys changed his wishes overnight, and they looking at him like he got 3 heads too. In the meantime, we seeing Aemon out here trying to be Damon, basically wearing his little black cloak with the hood on it or whatever, the way Damon normally do. Got his eye patch like nobody's supposed to know who the hell he is, and he giving Christian this breakdown of the places that he know that, you know, Aegon can be or whatever, right? And at the same time, we seeing Eric and Eric, okay, they are twins, and they basically both have the same name, but one is with an A and one is with an E, okay? They both go and look for Christian together, right? And they're asking questions and trying to see his whereabouts because they know most of the places that, you know, he go to too. So we got one set from Otto looking for him, and we got one set from Allison looking for him. Now, with the first house they go to, the girl's like, no, he ain't been here in years, okay? He's into some other things now. And she ends up singing to Aemon like, oh, you done grew up, okay, since I last saw you. And he just was like, you know, and they continue to go on their way to see, you know what I'm saying, if they could go ahead and find him. You know, she's talking about somehow you have grown. So now, you know, in the meantime, like I said, Otto is over here trying to get these people to bend the knee. And you have a few that's like, I will not bend the knee. I'm not down with this, okay? I know what the hell Viserys said, and I'm not going to just turn around and change it up now because you are telling me that supposedly, you know, he said this last night to your wife. Like, some people is just not buying this now. The majority is, you know, sitting or kneeling or whatever. You know, Otto basically was like anyone else when the first person got up and said that they wasn't going to bend it. But you had maybe 10 people all together that basically, you know, was standing and pretty much looked like they wasn't going to, you know, be down with it. And you have this lady say house fell, you know, keeps his sworn oath to the princess. And he was like, okay. So they basically have the guards go to them too and take them out the daggone room. You know, Otto was like, very well. So I was like, are y'all taking them to lock them up, or are y'all taking them to kill them? Okay, what is the truth? What are we doing here? Are we killing off people that basically are not down with, you know, Aegon or whatever? And we had, you know what I'm saying, the man say that he's not an oath breaker. Like, he made his oath to her, and that's that. And all the rest of them, you know, all say long live the king. But we have one guy that's kind of looking to the side like, yeah, I'm not with this, but I'm not going to tell y'all that I'm not with this. And Larry's is basically all in the cut, watching and looking and seeing him and looking at him while he looking like, yeah, y'all bugging with this, all right? And so in the meantime, Eric and Eric is out here looking different places or whatever. And they go into this place where, you know, they see this little Targaryen boy. And he was like, wait a minute, is that one of Aegon's? And he was like, one of many. So Aegon been out here. Okay, I guess they didn't have enough tea to go around. He been out here making babies left and right, according to them. And, you know, we have this girl that basically comes up to them and says, you know, I might know where the prince is for a little fee, okay? You gonna have to give me some money or whatever the case may be, right? And, excuse me, we have, you know, Aemon is basically saying he should be king. He's like, you know, I'm the fighter. I'm the strong one. I'm the one that knows how to do things, right? Like, he don't even want it. He over here running from it. And he's basically was saying to Sir Christian, like, I'm next in line, and trust and believe that when my turn comes, I wouldn't be running the other way. And Sir Christian was just kind of saying to him, like, you know, I get it, and sometimes it seems like it's easier, like, you know, they'll throw it to somebody else or whatever the case may be, but, you know, it is what it is, and we gotta do what we gotta do, basically. And so in the meantime, you know, homeboy thought he was slick, the one that was giving the side eyes. He go walking off, you know, to his horse to get on it and get ready to go out these gates. But they was like, nah, seize those gates, close those gates. You ain't going nowhere, okay? And, you know, Larys catches him and comes and was like, yeah, he was trying to leave so he could go warn Rhaenyra. And he's like, nah, I wasn't trying to warn Rhaenyra about nothing. And Otto was like, so what was you going to do, okay? Why was you leaving in such a rush? And so basically they take him off and he keeps screaming, you know, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? And so, I was like, whoo, baby, you know, I guess we gonna be dropping bodies every which way if, you know, we are not getting our way. You know what I'm saying? That's what it looks like it's coming down to. So in the meantime, when this girl came up to the brothers and was telling them, like, I know where the prince is, I could, you know, let you know, but it's gonna be for a price or whatever. They was like, well, show us him first and then we could consider your price. But she was like, nah, you gonna have to come up, with that money first. They basically was having, a debate back and forth. In the meantime, we seeing them wrapping up, Viserys' body, and Alicent is standing in there with him, and she go and place the crown on top of his body or whatever the case may be. I say, yeah, girl, whatever. It's like she plays this role that she's going by everything that she's supposed to go by, but then at the same time you doing underhanded crooked stuff in the back scenes too, girl. Like, pick one, make your choice, stand in it. I hate the back and forth with her. And so, she's crying over his body or whatever the case may be. And, then she goes in and she sees Rhaenys. So Rhaenys in the meantime was looking, out the window. And when she hears the door open, she walks over like, did you come to basically apologize to me, for the way I've been treated this damn morning? Like, that, is that what you're here for? And so she talking about, my sincerest apologies, about that. But we had to go ahead and do what we had to do and get some things in order, for a minute. She was like, the king is basically dead or whatever the case may be, right? And so she was like, Rhaenys told her, so you are basically doing a uprising right now. Is that what you're telling me? Alicent gonna talk about, no, believe me or not, Rhaenys, before he passed last night, actually told me that he wanted Aegon to be king. Rhaenys, okay, Miss Queen, never ever was like, girl, bye. Okay, girl, bye. So she was like, Aegon will be king, and I just need to basically know at this point, are you going to be down with us or not? I came here for your support because I must credit you for your boldness and, the way you get down. In House Valerian, you sided with, Princess Rhaenyra, but what did that gain you? What did you ever get from it? Your daughter is dead. You're alone in Pentos or whatever. Your son is a cockhole. Rhaenyra's heirs are none of yours. And, at the end of the day, your husband, who grasped so headlessly for the throne, has even abandoned you. So I said, what? And she talking about, been 6 long years of returning to grieving and being wounded and all this bull crap, right? And she was like, leaving the Lady Driftmark to chart the course alone. And so, Rhaenys told her, my house ain't fickle, girl. My house ain't fickle, and neither am I, okay? I don't know what you think you heard, but that's not how it goes. And then, Alicent want to run up, oh, no, but dear cousin, and turn her around. She's like, you're more than the soul alive, and I understand now what I say. And, I love my husband, and I will speak the truth for both of them or whatever the case may be. And you should have been queen when it's all said and done. She thinks she could butter her up. And so she was basically like, the Iron Throne would have been yours, but Viserys would have lived as a country lord, and it would have been studies of his histories. But here we are. This is the road that we went down. And so, she was like, men may rule and all of this stuff, but we guide them gently. And so she was like, we get them away from destruction and instead towards peace. And so Rhaenys is like, girl, what is you coming in here with this mess for, And she talking to, Rhaenys asked, what of my dragon? And she was like, oh, well, your dragon, will stay here. And she was like, we can't take the chance of Rhaenyra getting out. If you want to go back to Driftmark, or if you want Driftmark, you can have it. You shall have it or whatever, right? For your granddaughters to pass on as you see fit. And so Rhaenys just started laughing. She was like, you know what? I slept on you a little bit. You're wiser than I believed you to be, okay? You got some tricks up your sleeve, I see. But at the end of the day, Alicent Hightower, the true queen, counts the course of her people or whatever the case may be. And she was like, and yet you still toil at the service of men, your father, your husband, and your son, bitch, okay? She didn't say the bitch, but I'm adding that in because she pisses me off. She was like, you desire to be, make yourself a window in the wall of your prison. It's still the same thing. It's not no freaking difference, even if you telling yourself that. And she leaned in and was like, have you never imagined yourself on the Iron Throne? And Alicent gonna go ahead and walk away talking about, let me know what your answer is. I'll be waiting, ring the bell. And then I know that you are ready to talk. We both, me and Rhaenyra said, bitch, bye. Okay, get the hell up out of here. So now Otto go sit down, with Miss Masara, he talking about, nice to finally meet or whatever the case may be and do these negotiations to get, Prince Aegon back. I done heard a lot about you, and she talking about condolences for the passing of the king. So he basically was like, looking, because he like, how the hell do she know that? That word is not even supposed to be out. But nonetheless, he looks at Eric for him to go ahead and put this bag of coins down for her. And he's like, where is, Prince Aegon? She was like, oh, I thought the prince was in, Flea Bottom when nobody could be trusted or whatever, right? And she was like, our best secret, in case they come looking for him or whatever, right? And he kept saying, where's the prince? And she basically was like, he is safely tucked away, okay? He is safe. She was like, I want to end the savage use that's been going on down with the children in Flea Bottom, okay? Where they are forced to fight and worse. Y'all come in treating them all bad. The gold clubs just bribe and take them away and do what they want to do. It's an obscenity, and I want it to stop. You know what I'm saying? I will not be tolerated or ignored no more by the crown. And so Otto was basically like, I'll look into it. You have my word. And so she wanted to negotiate, okay, before she told them where the hell, Aegon was. And so she was like, well, after you install your grandson on the throne, remember who put him there. Remember who helped. You know what I'm saying? I could have easily killed him or whatever the case may be. So I was like, you talking big stuff, girl, And she was like, there's no power but what people allow them, to have. And so Otto was like, I will remember. I said, girl, that could be a remember that's, good or bad. So now they find Aegon, and Aegon is running for dear life. He don't want no parts of this child. He don't want to be king. He's literally screaming like, I don't want to be king. Why do I have to go? Has my father died? They telling him, yeah, whatever. Now, when they bringing him out, because Eric have found him first, now they meeting up with Christian Cole and Daemon. And Eric and, Eric and Christian Cole start to fight, right? And we seen like when the brothers was talking or whatever before, and they was looking for him, that it was a kind of a divide, right? One is on Rhaenyra's side and saying, listen, we had already pledged and said we was going to be there for them, and the other one is on the green. So he was even being like trifling, and when Christian and him was fighting, Christian's like, where your brother? He ain't even bother coming down there, honey. He was looking from the top of them damn stairs, and then he basically, went and disappeared. Now, in the meantime, the same time that, Christian and Eric is fighting, we got Aegon and Aemon, fighting, and he's telling him, no, stop. He was like, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want to be there, okay, you can have it. I really do not want to do this. He was like, I have no desire to be daggone king. And so Aemon was saying, I was hoping that you disappeared. And, he asked him, like, is our father truly dead? And he told him, yeah. He was like, well, I can disappear. Like, it's not too late, because Aemon was telling Aegon, like, they making you king. And he basically was like, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? He was like, just let me go, let me go, let me go. And then he ended up grabbing, Aemon's face and was saying to him, like, listen, I could go jump on the ship right now and disappear. You could tell them that you never found me. And he looked like he was thinking about it for like 2 seconds. But then Christian ends up walking up and was just basically like, the queen awaits you. And so, basically he had to go ahead and go with them. All right. So Allison ended up basically beating, Otto to it. And so when she walked in the room, Otto ended up saying, well played. And she was like, this is not a game. He was like, oh, well, it's not a game. However, you seem to be playing it well. You seem to be catching on and knowing what's going down and knowing what's to, what you got to do. And he telling her how she looked like her mother in some of the lights. She was like, yeah, whatever. So he was like, no matter what our difference is, our hearts beat as one and all of this. And, she tells him our hearts was never one. I see that now. You have basically just been using me like a piece on the board or whatever. And he said, if that's true, I still made you the queen of the 7 kingdoms, okay? And so he was like, would you desire otherwise? And she was like, how could I know? I wanted whatever you impressed on me to want, and that comes with a debt now. So I said, okay, she finally, it took her how many years, see her father for who he is, but you not that far behind him, child. And he's saying he made this sacrifice for the realm and, to protect the many. I said, yeah, okay, Otto. So he was like, you might think it's, squeamish or weak or whatever. And she was like, murder, reluctance to murder does not make a person weak. So she was like, I will proceed now as I see fit, okay? I'm the bitch in charge in this shit, right? Basically, that's what she was telling him. So she lets him know, like, we're going to send, the terms to Rhaenyra at Dragonstone. We will see whether she will accept the terms. If she lives her allies and mass behind her with her banners, look for her turn, then she may not return or whatever the case may be. My husband would have desired the mercy of his daughter. And then he's like, your husband? He was like, or his daughter's childhood companion. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to throw it out there because they was friends when they was younger. And she said, Kristen Cole will now be the Lord Commander. She ain't even answer that part of what he said to her. And I was like, he don't deserve it, but whatever, y'all trifling, so all the trifling might as well stick together. And she was like, my son will be anointed tomorrow at dawn at King's Landing or whatever the case may be, so that people could witness it, and he will assume, authority. So she was like, my son will take the crown of the namesake, and he will carry the black fire sword, and let the people remember the ancient strength of House of Targaryen. Okay, she really swears she upholding stuff. So at that point, she go ahead and she walk out. Now, in the meantime, also, when Larys had brung the guy into Otto, he was thanking him and saying, like, I've been seeing you holding it down, and I've been seeing that you've been spending, a lot of time with my daughter. I said, yeah, little do you know, or maybe you do, and you like it, the stuff that he is doing. And so, of course, we had, him come in and talk to Allison and asking her, do you ever wonder how it is that your father, the hand, found Aegon first or whatever the case may be? And, he's still up to his tricks. He's still playing games. And he basically was saying that, oh gosh, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm just getting like so much pain right now. So basically, she just was like, sighing, and she went and she sat her behind down or whatever the case may be. They over here by the damn fireplace. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing her taking off her shoes and stuff. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening here? Okay, what are we taking off our shoes for? Like, well, we about to start taking off clothes. And so he tells her that there is a web of spies at work in the Red Keep, okay? And she was like, he basically said they've been traveling news and doing all these different doings. So she was like, what do you mean? Who exactly are we talking about? Who is doing this or whatever, right? And he basically ends up telling her, like, your father knows this place or whatever the case may be, right? And more than once it's provoked adventurous, willings and dealings or whatever, right? And he was like, it feeds the weaver. And so she basically was like, well, this weaver watches me. And, he was like, yeah, he said, what was her name? Basically the one that was her handmaid that was assisting her, whatever. Now, mind you, the more that, he talks is the more she takes the next piece off. So she took off the shoes, and then she took off the stocking, and then she putting her feet up. So I guess he has some kind of daggone foot fetish, and this is how she makes her payments to him for him to give her, the tea of what's going on. I said, that's what we out here doing, girl. We out here showing feet. Okay. So he says one of the little spiders is your lady in waiting, amongst others, right? There's a few others that's going down too. She was like, Taylor? And he was like, yeah, and more like her, okay? And he was like, we don't even know their number, how many it really could be, but we do know that is a few. So he was like, there's one way to destroy, his advantage or whatever that must be taken out at the head. And she basically was like, he says when the queen dies, the bees fly without purpose or whatever, right? And so begging your pardon for you to turn the phrase your grace or whatever, right? And she was like, I assume that task falls within your expertise, and he says, if you wish it. And so, of course it will be done. He will do whatever she commands or whatever, right? And so, now she basically putting her feet up and rubbing it. And I just was like, ooh, that scene was weird as hell, y'all. Okay. And she's like pulling up her dress a little bit more to let her legs show and whatever have you. And I'm like, oh, okay. He looked like he was ready to do his business, I guess you would say to it, child. These people weird. Okay. They weird, trifling, crazy, all of the above. So, moving on along, we basically end up, seeing Aegon sitting there eating, he don't want to be bothered. It's so crazy that this whole war is going on and he don't even want this, and they're literally, forcing him into it. He would rather just be chilling now. In the meantime, we seeing something set on the on fire, and we also see, that Eric comes and gets Rhaenys out of her room. He like, nah, girl, we got to get up out of here. I'm going to, take you, and we have to leave. She's saying she won't leave Melee's, which is basically her dragon. She asking him, where are they at right now? And he basically was telling her that they was at the south of King's Way, and he was like, they have to wait, they make their way and find a ship. He was like, if we go back or if they see you, you're going to be caught, and there's not going to be no way out. You know what I'm saying? We have to hurry up and leave before they realize that you're gone. And so in the meantime, he was like, that's what they would expect, and they would be waiting for you there. You won't get past the gates. Now, in the meantime, they start getting caught up into these other people that's getting pushed into different, spots or whatever, and they actually end up getting separated, and Rhaenys is looking all crazy because it's like, so much people, and it's starting to form a crowd, and she's getting like pushed in from one direction to the next one, right? And so every time they would turn a corner, it would be more people coming this way and saying, keep moving, go right, go straight, or whatever, right? And they kept getting caught up into the crowds. They was able to kind of switch up like 2-3 times, but then after that, it was too many people coming, and they got separated, and she just was walking and following kind of in the same direction as everybody else together. And we didn't see where Eric went anymore after that. And so, basically we have, the carriage coming through where they could see them passing by, and we have Aegon and Alicent inside this carriage, and she's telling him about what Rhaenys, I'm sorry y'all, supposedly said to her last night, and how much he wanted him to be king. And he's laughing his ass off. He's like, girl, that's a lie. I know that's a lie. He's never wanted me to be king. He ain't never mentioned this in 20 years. If he wanted me, to be king, he would have been said it. He like, don't toy with me, mother. And she's like, I'm not. I speak the truth. He was like, why would he all of a sudden change his mind now? He has been so adamant and fighting for Rhaenyra to be on the throne, but all of a sudden now last night he changed it to me, and he basically was looking at the dagger that was there and picking it up, and he was saying how he never loved him and he never respected him. And so here Alicent telling him like, oh, your grandfather, the hand, is going to try to impress on you to go after Rhaenyra. Don't listen to that, and you must reject this counsel. You are going to be king. She's over here telling him that he should be looking more grateful, or whatever the case may be, right? Why would he be grateful about something that he don't want, though, Alicent? You and your damn daddy at this point are the ones that are going so hard for it and want it, child, and you don't even look grateful. She's saying, we cannot rule with cruelty and callousness, okay? And so she was like, for all the faults, she's still your sister, whatever. And he was like, do you love me? Do you even love me? And she gonna talk about you imbecile. She still never answered that damn question, okay? I don't think any of them even know what love is. So in the meantime, they coming past in this carriage, and they holding, the people back so that they could pass. And then everybody basically ends up, following them in. And Rhaenyra sees her way up in there too, and she's listening to them. They giving this whole big speech. Otto is also just still spreading the same thing about how Cersei's changed his mind, and this is gonna be the king. They have him kneel down, and they basically crown him and was like, this is gonna be the king now. And he steps up, or whatever the case may be, and Rhaenys is just watching all of this, standing there too with all the other, crowds of people. They have these guards come and hold their swords up, and he walk through them, and he walk up on the stage, and Sir Christian and basically all his siblings, and of course Otto, Ass, and Alicent is standing up there with him, and he kneels down on the floor, and they basically got ahead to go grab the crown and put it on his head or whatever, right? And of course they want to make it a big spectacle. They want everybody to be able to see and witness what's going on. And so they was like, made the warrior, give him courage, and making all this big speech. And the scepter came and like was blessing his head and saying, give him the strength with a sword and shield and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so you know, defend him in his need and different stuff like that, basically saying a little prayer over him. And then after they finished that or whatever, they basically went ahead and you know, basically placed the crown on his head and was saying, you know, you now have your king, right? And I found it interesting that it was this black crown, and he just looked so evil and disgusting and pitiful and I don't even know, y'all. You know, but they say, oh, hell, you know, his grace Aegon or whatever, right? And second of his name, and king of Anders and Rhaenyra, and the first of the men or whatever, right? Lord of the seven kingdoms. And so then he go ahead and he turned around and they saying protector of the realm, and just all the people, you know, start to cheer, and they're saying, oh, Aegon the king. And if anybody ain't look more sad and pitiful a day in their damn life, you know, he was like not happy about this at all. But then when he seeing all the people cheering, it seemed like, you know, a little flicker of light started coming in his eyes a little bit, like maybe this could be about something, right? And so in the meantime, you know, he just looking around and looking up and seeing the people at the top, the people at the bottom that's, you know, basically cheering for him. And Otto couldn't have a bigger damn smile. You know, he done accomplished, or so he think, what he wanted. And, you know, Aegon over here taking out his sword like, you know, yeah. So they cheering even harder when he do that. And so, baby, let me tell y'all, honey, they just smiling on back, and like I said, feeling like they living their damn, you know, best damn lives. And all of a sudden, something came through and was like, boom, and you just seen the concrete rocks, you know, dust, everything flying, and there's a dragon there, and my chick, Miss Queen, never, ever, 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 ever should have been, could have been, would have been. You know what I'm saying? Princess Rhaenys came through, damn it, with her damn dragon Mayleys, and was like, nah, bitch. Y'all want a war? Y'all gonna get a war. Y'all trying to start something? Let's start something, all right? She done switched up and threw that damn, you know what I'm saying, robe off that she had on and got her daggone armor on and got her dragon. You know, he's telling them to open the doors, open the doors, open the doors. They closing their people fighting and running and trying to get in between. And she walked right up on their asses, and that damn dragon was looking at them like, I was waiting, baby. Ooh, Lord, I wish she could have just said Dracarys. But we know, you know what I'm saying, that it was not going to go that fast. She had that dragon on their ass, okay? And Allison over here standing in front of the damn, you know, king or whatever the case may be, you know, the king Aegon, all right? And she just basically had the dragon be like, rah! And blow on their asses like I huff, I puff, I blow your ass down, okay? She ain't even shoot out the damn fire. I said, girl, you all right, Rhaenys? I see you, girl. I see you, you know? And then her and her dragon, you know what I'm saying, went off and bounced out of there so they could go over to Dragonstone and let Miss Rhaenyra know what's going down. We at war now. It's on and popping, y'all, okay? The war begins. And so that was the episode, y'all. That was my review recap for y'all. Put it in the comments. Let me know, you know, what do y'all think Rhaenyra and them is going to come do? Who y'all think the next ones is going to be? You know, don't forget to let me know who's your top ones you want to see go down. You know, let's discuss. Put it all in the comments, all right? Like, comment, share, subscribe if you were so inclined. Give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the sky. Till next time, y'all. Toodaloo.